6 million years ago, long before the first humans took their first steps. The world was entering a strange and violent phase. Forests were thinning in some regions, but in others, thick jungles still stretched endlessly across the horizon. These jungles were nothing like the ones we know today. They were older, darker, and ruled by creatures so ancient that evolution itself seemed afraid to challenge them. In this world lived the first tree dwellers, early primates, small mammals, and fragile species still learning to climb, leap, and survive above the forest floor. But the trees were not safe. Because lurking in the branches hidden between layers of vines and moss lived a predator unlike anything alive today. The giant jungle lizard, a massive reptile nearly 2 meters long with jaws designed to lock on to prey and never let go. Its body stretched across branches like a living shadow, camouflaged so perfectly that its victims often realized the danger only when it was too late. This was not a simple reptile. This was a master of ambush, a silent killer that ruled the treetops long before modern predators evolved the same skill. At dawn, when the sunlight crept through the thick canopy in narrow golden beams, the forest breathed slowly. Insects hummed in the distance, monkeys chattered softly, and tiny mammals searched for fruits or insects. Among them were the early tree dwellers, primitive primates the size of squirrels, with wide eyes and long fingers that helped them cling to bark. They were still new to the trees, still learning how to move quickly, still discovering what it meant to survive above the ground. One such primate, a young female, climbed toward a patch of ripe fruit. She moved cautiously, hopping from branch to branch, unaware of the danger stretched silently a few meters above her. The giant lizard lay still, its green-brown scales blending into the moss. Its slow heartbeat allowed it to remain motionless for hours. Only its eyes moved, tracking the primate's every step. These eyes were sharp, adapted to detect even the smallest trembling leaf. The young primate reached the fruit cluster. She plucked one, sniffed it, and began to eat. For a moment, everything seemed peaceful. But then the lizard made its move. The attack was too fast for any young primate to dodge. The lizard dropped from above like a silent stone. Before the primate could scream, the reptile's jaws snapped around her torso. Her cry echoed through the forest, sending nearby animals scrambling. The lizard dragged her deeper into the foliage where it could feed without interruption. The forest returned to silence, as if it had accepted the kill. This was life in the Miocene jungles. Every creature hunted or was hunted. In the branches, nothing hunted as efficiently as the giant jungle lizard. But the lizard was not the only danger. 6 million years ago, predators on the ground were evolving new strategies. Ancient cats developed longer limbs. Wolves began to coordinate in packs. Birds of prey grew sharper claws. As competition increased below, the trees became a refuge for smaller mammals. But that refuge was fragile, because evolution had already placed a killer among them, one perfectly adapted to hunt those that thought themselves safe above the forest floor. One hot afternoon, as the forest air grew heavy, another early primate, a male with strong limbs, moved across a fallen log suspended between two trees. He sensed something was wrong. The forest was quiet, too quiet. The usual buzzing insects were absent. Even the leaves seemed still. His instincts told him to turn back. But instinct is rarely stronger than hunger. He continued forward, and the giant lizard watched from a nearby branch. This one was older, larger, more experienced. It didn't rush. Instead, it carefully repositioned itself, making sure its body weight was balanced for a perfect strike. The primate paused and sniffed the air, but he smelled only damp leaves and rotting wood. Then it happened. The lizard lunged, but the male primate was quicker than most. He leaped sideways just in time, the reptile's jaws snapping shut inches from his tail. He scrambled across the branch, screeching, desperately trying to escape. The lizard followed, moving in almost complete silence. Its claws dug into the bark, carrying its heavy body effortlessly. The chase lasted seconds. The primate tried to leap toward another tree, but the distance was too wide, his grip too weak. Slipped. He fell toward the forest floor, hitting branches on the way down. Before he could recover, the lizard dropped after him, landing with a thud nearby. The primate tried to crawl away, but the lizard's claws pinned him. With a swift bite, it ended the struggle. In this world, even gravity worked for the predator. But the giant lizard didn't just rule by strength. It ruled by intelligence, primitive, reptilian intelligence, but intelligence nonetheless. It learned patterns. It memorized common paths used by small mammals. It returned to the same ambush points again and again. Over time, entire generations of early primates evolved new behaviors simply to avoid these reptiles' stronger grips, sharper senses, more agile leaps. Their evolution was shaped by the terror living above them. Still, the jungle was changing, slowly but surely. Rainfall patterns were shifting, some forests were breaking apart into patches, rivers altered their paths. With these changes came new predators, larger cats, venomous snakes, aggressive birds. The giant lizard faced more competition than ever before. One evening, as the sun dipped low and the forest glowed orange, a young lizard ventured toward a clearing. It sensed prey, a small rodent feeding on fallen seeds. It crept forward, belly low, eyes fixed. Just as it prepared to strike, a massive shadow swept across the ground. A prehistoric eagle dove from above, talons extended. The young lizard hissed and tried to escape, but the eagle grabbed it, lifted it off the ground, and soared into the sky. The jungle had new hunters, and the giant lizard was no longer untouchable. Over thousands of years, the balance shifted. Primates became faster, smarter, more coordinated. They learned to warn each other with calls. They formed small groups. They explored safer parts of the canopy. Meanwhile, the jungle lizards slowly receded from dominance. Their size reduced, their numbers dwindled. The age of giant reptiles in the trees was ending. Eventually, the giant jungle lizard disappeared altogether, replaced by smaller, modern tree lizards and monitors that still live today. But the echoes of its reign linger in the instincts of primates, even now the fear of sudden movement, the sensitivity to rustling leaves, the ancient memory of a predator that once ruled the canopy. The story of the giant lizard is a reminder that evolution is shaped not just by survival, but by fear passed down through generations, fear that changes how species move, behave, and even think. And 6 million years ago, in a world where the ground was deadly and the trees were a dangerous refuge, nothing inspired more fear than the silent shadow hunting among the branches, a shadow with scales, claws, and a hunger that shaped the future of life itself.